Is your mindset ready for AGI? That's today's subject. So quickly, AGI is artificial general intelligence. It means an AI that can do anything mentally that a human can do on numerous tasks at human level competency. This is not a physical world concept, but a mental world concept. So what is the most important determinant of anything you ever do, work or otherwise? Mindset. Your mindset trumps the learning you got in school and experience at work. So what do I mean by mindset? I mean your viewpoint or attitude regarding what you're doing at the moment. So some things in life, probably many things, are easy, right? You've done them a million times, starting with when you were a kid. So your mindset is preconditioned for those things. Now, what about when you're doing something you've never done before, especially something that's hard? Then mindset is the determining factor. So why am I bringing this up in the context of AGI? Because once AGI exists, you are going head to head with it, particularly in your career. So if your mindset, another word is your viewpoint or attitude, is so important, how can you change it or improve it? By getting a different type of knowledge than you got at school or through your work experience. Now, fortunately for us today, there's a lot of stuff easily accessible to help you work on your mindset. There are some of the biggest online influencers focus in this area, including Tony Robbins and Brendon Burchard. Just as an example, there's many, many more. One thing that's well researched and documented at this point is that a lot of your mindset comes from the environment you grew up in. Now, if you grew up in a really tough or challenging environment, or even if your parents just weren't that warm and loving, you got stuff to overcome that's affecting your mindset. So in addition to these online influencers, which there's hundreds of them, I only mentioned two, but two of the biggest ones, how can you change or improve your mindset? By either learning psychology on your own and beginning to understand where how you think comes from, or therapy. There are some extremely good psychological channels online now. Just one of them, which is out of the UK, is called School of Life, which has been around for a long time now and has millions of views on any number of topics. So this knowledge is fortunately now accessible, which it did not used to be. You used to have to go see a therapist, which is expensive because here in the United States, many medical plans do not include mental health. So in terms of changing your mindset, we've talked about two things so far, and there's a third. Major online influencers that focus in this area, or psychology channels that specialize in helping you deal with specific issues in your life. These issues, it is incredibly well researched and documented now, directly affect your viewpoint today from years and years ago. So it's really important you get this fixed. There's one other component to this, and I said this to someone I really care about recently. So we live in a physical world, obviously, but are we just a physical being? Or is there a whole unseen realm out there that's part of your life, whether you acknowledge it or not? And this power is the universe, if you want to call it that, karma, if you want to call it that, God, if you're religious. There's a lot of names for it, but I personally believe that there is this whole other thing going on in our lives that isn't obvious unless you seek it. This is another aspect of our physical lives that can help your mindset. And again, the reason I'm talking about mindset is because in the AGI world, you are going head to head with a one-dimensional being who will very quickly be smarter, not just human equivalent intelligence, but much smarter. See Tuesday's short for clarification on that. So what mindset do you need to cope in this age of AGI, which is almost upon us? This time when an AI will be smarter than any human being and have instantaneously at its command the sum total of human knowledge which no human being can have. The first thing I want to mention is called discernment. This is something that an AGI will not necessarily have. What is discernment? Discernment is knowing which knowledge will best apply in a given situation. At least that's how I define it. This, for the time being, is a peculiarly human gift. And this is very important because if your job could be automated, which many will be, first white-collar jobs, I've done several videos on this, discernment or knowing which knowledge to apply in a specific situation is critical to help you compete with AGI. The next thing is good judgment. Good judgment can trump knowledge or experience in many situations. So what are a couple of examples of good judgment? Knowing when to move forward with something or not, when to continue trying to achieve a goal or not. This is good judgment. And even the most successful people on the planet exercise this, especially knowing when to let something go that isn't working. And I think most particularly the most successful people in the world apply that concept to their mindset, knowing when to let go something in their mindset that is not serving them. And then the third aspect of this, in terms of coping with AGI, is your intuition or inner voice. This can only be accessed when you're quiet. You cannot force it. You have to seek quiet, ask a question, and your intuition will answer. This is something that possibly an AGI will never have, this ability. So intuition can be a very powerful friend for you in your career in the age of AGI. So the mindset you need to sum that up in the age of AGI is discernment, good judgment, and intuition. Now let's talk about practical approach. And by the way, this channel exists to help you thrive and survive the age of AI, including AGI. So that's why we're talking about this subject. Approach. Learn and use as much AI as you can that's relevant or helpful to making you more productive at work or have a better life at home. So there's so many things now incorporating AI out there, but not all of them are helpful to your career or to your home life. Some of them are just a time suck. So it's important to pick things that can directly contribute to your productivity, discernment, good judgment, and intuition at work or at home, and not get distracted by the irrelevant. The next thing with approach is it's very important to understand the arc of progress in specific AI technologies. That way you know when it's coming for you and your job. Great example. I recently did a video on tens of thousands of autonomous trucks coming, and there was a lot of comments from my viewers that I'm still responding to because there were so many. But you got to understand how much money and effort is being poured into the creation of these things right now that results in their inevitability. So if you understand the arc of progress so far in autonomous driving, whether it's trucks, cars, or whatever, then you can prepare yourself by finding a different career that is more protected from AI generally and AGI specifically, the subject of this video. And then finally, I've talked about this before in terms of approach. Extremely important. Pick a career that will take the longest to automate due to needing the human touch. I've talked about this repeatedly, but it's interesting. A work friend told me this week that his daughter studied to become a cosmetologist. That is a great example of a relatively AI-safe career. Why? How soon are women going to want a robot teaching them how to apply makeup and take care of their skin? No time soon. That's why it was a surprisingly great example of this concept. Others I've talked about as a nurse, physical therapist, and there's a bunch of them, electrician, plumber, but you get the gist. So in terms of approach, to sum up this video, 3 important things you need to do to keep yourself ahead of AI generally and AGI specifically. And those are, number 1, learn and use as much AI as you can that is relevant and helpful to what you do in your career or your home life. Number 2, understand the arc of progress of AI in the field you're in, when it might impact you, so that you give yourself enough time to change your career to something that is relatively AI safe. And number 3, pick that career that is relatively AI safe, that requires the human touch. And I gave you a number of examples. So this is how you survive and thrive in the age of AGI that is coming really soon, folks. This year, next year, the year after at the outside. Get ready. Prepare yourself. Use these tips to help protect you and your career, as most of my viewers are earlier on in their career or at the peak of their career. And you don't want to end up with long-term unemployment early or in the middle of your career. That is not good. Thanks so much. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Also, please support us on Patreon. We need your support financially to help us continue to grow the channel and to bring you resources, some of which we're working on now, that will help you thrive and survive in the age of AI. So thanks so much. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.